What powers did the national government have over the states? I want you to think about this analogy. Are there rules that matter more in school than at home? Are there rules from home that contradict rules at school? Contradict means, to interfere, to go against, or to be in conflict with. All right. So which authorities should reign supreme? So which one should we follow? That is the question. So that analogy represents the question of powers when it comes to the United States federal government, our national governments, and their laws, regulations, and whatnot versus state governments like Ohio. So there's often disagreements between state versus federal law, and the question is who should we follow? Which one is supreme? And we're going to look at that in today's lesson. So, powers of national government, what they did in the Constitutional Convention, they gave a lot of powers to our national government over the states. So this kind of sets forth that tone that the national government might be more powerful than those state governments. So the delegates included a number of phrases in the Constitution that set forth the powers of our national government over the states. So bottom left, it's always a struggle between the state and the federal types of government. Examples of this include Congress given the power to set militia or National Guard into national service when needed. Examples include the Little Rock Nine, and what happened was President Dwight Eisenhower signed an executive order sending troops from the Army's 101 1st Airborne Division to maintain order and peace during the integration of Central High School in Little Rock. So if you guys ever saw the movie Remember the Titans, this is when they integrate the school. And basically what happened in Little Rock, that Eisenhower sent in the National Guard because we are given that power to do that in the Constitution. The national government is allowed to do that to state governments when needed. Another example is the New York City postal strike. During a strike of U.S. postal workers involving about 150,000 workers, President Richard Nixon, he called in the National Guard to help get the mail moving because the mail is is a very important thing. And, the president, they sent in the National Guard to get the mail moving. And the strike was basically based upon, small pay raises. And finally, the National Guard got things in order and they were kind of back to work. So these are some powers the national government has over the states. Also, in our Constitution, it gives Congress the power to create new states. There weren't always 50 states. Think about when did Ohio become a state? Do you know? If not, research that. In addition to the 50 states that we have, we also have territories. We have about 14 territories, and 5 of them, the American Samoa, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Those are, 5 of them. They have a permanent non-military population. The rest of the territories, they're kind of military bases, things like that. You can look those up on your own time. And finally, the Supremacy Clause. This is a big clause in that battle of state law versus federal law. That Supremacy Clause basically says that the Constitution and all laws approved by the federal government are the most important supreme laws. No state law can contradict with the Constitution. So in 1803, in a Supreme Court case, they held that Congress, whatever laws Congress passes, or whatever laws that the states pass. So if Ohio passes a state law, it cannot contradict, it cannot go against the U.S. Constitution. So to illustrate that, in the top right is a ladder. So basically, these local laws, they cannot contradict the U.S. Constitution. State laws, they cannot contradict the U.S. Constitution. State constitutions, you get it. They cannot go against the U.S. Constitution because they reign supreme. They are at the top, a ladder of laws. They build upon each other. But at the top, it's the U.S. Constitution. So today, at the end of these slides, there are some supports for our handout. I'm going to show you the other video here soon on what is required for today's assignment. Let's look at and dive into the Supremacy Clause.